Hello YouTube. Today at powerjackrepair.org. Here. We got a ripped off battery connection. So the client sent it to us because they ripped off this battery connection from the motherboard, and all of the pads came off from the connector. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to solder each one the best we can. This is ground, this is ground, this is let's see what that is. So black is ground, so this one is ground. I soldered those two already. The brown one, you see the trace right here is not here anymore, so there is nothing to solder it to. And technically, can you solder it? You probably can, but probably none of you have a 3D microscope. Let me explain what this 3D microscope is. Something like that. You see, I can see on an angle, this is the positive one, this is a positive one. The trace came off right here and right there. You see, there's no more trace there. So I had to run the wire from here to here. That's the trace right here that goes to this positive end. This goes to the positive end. This one goes to the positive end. So this is all the red wires. Ooh, I only needed the two wires since the third one is not even connected. So 1, 2, 3. So we need the white, yellow. So the white I already connected from here. All right, down to here. Because you can see a broken trace from here. You see this is a broken trace here. And then a trace starts. Technically, you could solder it directly to the trace from here to here, jumper wire. But it holds much better if you solder it to the component. The wire basically just holds much better. All right, so here I soldered it directly to the motherboard right there. Those two traces were kind of damaged, but I scratched some negative parts right here and soldered them on. With this guy, that's the biggest problem right here. As you can see, there is nothing to solder it to. Let me zoom in. You see, there is nothing to solder the... I want to move this wire away. There's nothing to solder the pin towards to because the pad is already off the motherboard. And I don't want this guy to touch this guy. So the goal is to run a wire from here, either down to here, which is pretty much possible, but that's not gonna hold well, I think. And from here down to here, which is also possible, but this is not gonna hold well. All right, so the situation is we need to trace this trace, and it goes right here, goes right there, goes right there, and comes right here. So from here, we have to run the wire all the way to here, and from here we have to run the wire all the way to right there. My understanding, this is the trace that goes underneath right there, down to here, and then it goes right here. All right. So it's really extremely involved process. And the reason I didn't want to waste an hour of your time on this thing, because I'm just gonna show you how I'm gonna solder the last two and show you that it's really involved. And here, let's try and get this guy right here. All right. I still can find a good jumper wire that would be an ideal for this type of work. I have several jumper wires here, but in my opinion, none of them are doing the job I want them to do. All right, so we got, let's try one of the jumper wires here. All right, so I pre-tinned one of the jumper wires. right, that's too much zoom. That's even more zoom. Well, let's do something like that. All right, so I did pre-tin one of the wires. And you see, I tinned, meaning I put some solder on top of the wire. And then what we need to do, I believe this is the guy where it needs to be at. All right, like that. Okay. All right. And hopefully this guy is holding it. All right. We're gonna turn it here. Is it holding it or it's not holding it? Well, it does hold it. Okay. We're gonna run it here. Like that. We don't want it to touch anything here. So something like that. And then we're gonna go more downwards here. All right. It seems like it's easy to guide a tiny wire in place, but it's not. It's really not that easy. Because it's so tiny that at my age I have to use the microscope regardless. I mean, those of you who have this broken connector in front of you, you probably understand what I'm talking about. Let's try a different. Oh, did it break off? It just broke off on me. All right. So let's guide this guy towards the outer pin. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can solder this guy to the pin. Oh. Okay, so now it's soldered, right? All right, so this thing is soldered. My biggest concern is that is it gonna be touching anything here? Nope, it's not gonna be touching anything except the trace down here, this trace. You see this trace that I stripped? It's supposed to go there. So what I want to do is I want to cut this guy right there. In order to cut those wires, you do need special cutters. And what I want to do all right, good job. Is it nice and flush? Let's see. Good job, excellent. All right, so this wire is up in the air and I like it like that. So the worst part is right here, yet to come, this guy. This pin needs to be going, my understanding it needs to be going right here. So wire from here down to here. And that way I would be done with guiding the wires. And then we have to put some mask on and do UV treatment of the mask. and hopefully everything's gonna work. Yeah, I honestly hope that this guy right there running down to here. I might be mistaken, but it seems like... I mean, I don't see any other... Yeah, this guy here. Right? Right. Yeah. So let's solder the one more wire. Let's pretend the wires. All right. Let's move this guy a little bit centered. Again, I believe this is the one here. All right. All right. Looks good or not? You know what? I don't want it to touch this, that one, because that might be a ground of some sort. That looks good. Excellent. So, okay. All right. So here we have a... Okay. You know what? I got thousands of tweezers for sale, and I'm using those ones. I need to go and get a new set of tweezers, I think. Maybe I will use those guys here. Those are kind of hard. Oh, maybe they're gonna be all right. No, not, that's not the right tweezers. Anyways, again, don't want to waste your time. So let's just deal with what we have in here. Let's try those guys here. Right there, yeah. All right, so let's get this guy here like that. Here like that. Here like that. Are those bad tweezers as well? Oh, yeah. Better? Yeah, better, much better. Let's get this guy here. Like that. Like that. I don't want it to touch anything here. Nope. Let's get back to my favorite tweezers. Yeah, much better. Well, favorite, I got I got a whole bunch of them. Just different one for a different task. And it's not like we do those connectors every single day here. Much better, yeah. All right. Let's see in 3D. Okay, the goal is to make the wire so that it would be nicely, tightly put in there. All right. And now we're just gonna put something like that. All right, let's hope. Perfect. Almost. I need more solder, I think. Yeah. Excellent. Let's cut the wire. All right. All right. Good job. Let's see what's touching what. And nothing touching anything except maybe a little bit right here. Like that. All right, looks good. And we want to drop this guy a little bit or remove it altogether. Good job. Good job, excellent. All right, so what else I want to do? I want to lift up this guy a little bit so it wouldn't be touching the board. All right, up in the air, up in the air. This is fine. All right, so that's basically the way how we can fixate this guy in place. All right, and what I'll have left to do is try some mask and then UV light, and hopefully everything's gonna be all right. All right, so you know what, before I'm gonna try mask, I wanna clean up here a little bit. All right. Yep, nice and clean. And this is Kimtech wipes. Those are free of any lint, supposedly. Alrighty. Alrighty, looks wonderful to me. Alright. Alrighty, once I wiped out everything with Kimtech wipes, I'm just gonna air dry everything here. And not too much in terms of so that nothing would melt. Just like a blow dryer here. Alright. Need everything to evaporate. Those support legs on the front, they are both broken. They just sit there. The only support here is the wiring, so to speak. All right. All right, so it seems like everything is kind of dried off, hopefully. All right. Let's see if the Q-tip gonna absorb anything. All right, seems like Q-tip does absorb something still. All right. Now, I wanted to do the masking tape, but before I'm gonna do the masking tape, I want to make sure that this is slightly up. This is up. This is up. I don't want it to touch the trace right here. You see that trace? It's kind of naked trace there. Ooh, what happened here? All right, so I want this guy to be like that. Like that. And you see, that's the reason why I need 3D microscope. It's $1,000, yeah, but when we get a client who sends something like that, I mean, there is no way to go around without the 3D microscope. All right, you see, everything still kind of sits on top of this stuff here. I just hope that this is soldered right there. It's soldered. All right, so let's try and see if we can just fill everything up here with the... Oh, you know what, hold on 1 second, hold on. Hold your horses. No. They shouldn't be here. Yeah, what I need to install, I need to install the cover hinge. All right. Is it kind of too late to install the cover hinge? Probably not. Hold on. Let's clean this guy up. This is extremely toxic product, so don't use it without proper ventilation. All right. Looks good. Now let's try and find my cover for the battery. And I think the way how we insert it is like that. Ay, ay. I'm not 100% sure that this cover won't touch the... Hmm. Yeah, so the problem is the cover probably grabs onto one of those wires here, or one of the wires there. All right. Let's see if we can insert it one more time. Again, when client calls us, listen, can you fix it? We probably can, but do we wanna? Again, depends if the client is paying. All right. Let's see if yeah, my guess the wires on the bottom are blocking, or maybe not. Let's take a look here. All right, so my question is, now this is in locked position. All right. I don't want any of that mask to be in between there, simply because it's not supposed to be there. Definitely not supposed to be here. All right, so what do we see from here? Now the hinge is in locked position. We want this wire not to touch that wire. Currently they are touching, so something like that. We wanna not touch, we want this not to touch up in the air, up in the air. All right, so it seems like everyone is up in the air. All right, good job. And now the goal is to just a tiny little bit. All right. Okay. All right. Alrighty. And now the goal is to cure it. I wonder if this thing is touching the metal bracket or not. And that, does it touch a metal bracket or this thing? And I wonder. All right, so that's one step. Another step is I wanna add a little bit right here. Maybe it's gonna hold the connector in place. And right here. Maybe that's gonna hold the connector in place. All right, looks good. The worst part about this procedure is it's extremely toxic. All of those chemicals, they basically prohibited everywhere. I don't think European Union even has that kind of stuff. They probably do, because I mean they still build the BMW out of stuff. All right, let's get the UV light. Alrighty, so I will cover everything with the LED light, and I will leave the light on, and it's supposed to cure everything on the motherboard. The thing is, I don't want to be in the same room with this light, simply because it's all bad for your eyes.